General Hospital spoilers tease that Robin's return to Port Charles is no longer a matter of speculation, it is now a confirmed reality. Kimberly McCullough is officially stepping back into the role that defined a generation of General Hospital fans, and her timing could not be more profound. In the wake of Tristan Rogers' passing and the planned funeral for Robert, Robin's reappearance carries a weight far beyond nostalgia. It signals a new chapter not only for her character but also for the entire Scorpio legacy. The town is bracing itself for a cascade of emotional and structural changes, and Robin is at the heart of it all. The decision to bring Robin back now, amid the somber preparations for Robert's funeral, underscores the emotional magnitude of this storyline. Robin was not just a daughter on screen, she was a living symbol of Robert's softer, paternal side, a connection that endured across decades and dramatic upheavals. Her return represents more than grief. It represents a mirror to the past, a confrontation with unresolved pain, and a challenge to the people Robert left behind. It's not simply a family gathering. It's a reckoning. With Robin's re-entry into town, General Hospital initiates one of the most significant narrative adjustments in recent memory. Her presence shifts the emotional atmosphere immediately. People once distanced by time, trauma, or tension now find themselves drawn together, or torn further apart, by her arrival. The emotional complexity of her character, a brilliant doctor with a haunted past, ensures that she will not simply slip back into place. Instead, her return forces those around her to reevaluate everything they thought was buried. Her relationship with Anna, once fraught with the pain of lies and secrets, may be tested anew as Robin seeks answers, about Robert, about her own legacy, and about her daughter Emma, who has recently begun her own descent into recklessness and rebellion. If Robin is returning to mourn, she may also be returning to rescue. Emma's recent troubles, possibly linked to figures like Professor Henry Hank Dalton, could serve as the emotional fuse that brings Robin fully back into the fold, not just as a grieving daughter, but as a mother desperate to steer her own child from the edge. Moreover, the entire town is poised to shift. Robin's interactions with key figures such as Sonny, Carly, Jason, if present, Elizabeth, and others may reopen old wounds, long-silenced debates, or long-awaited reconciliations. The funeral of Robert will not simply be a final farewell, it will be a collision of past and present, and Robin's voice will be central in defining what comes next. Port Charles is no stranger to funerals, but this one feels different. With Robin present, the sorrow is deeper, the tension sharper, and the opportunities for healing or collapse more urgent. The funeral becomes a spotlight under which years of history are relitigated. Who will offer eulogies? Who will be conspicuously absent? And how will Robin confront those who let Robert slip away, both emotionally and physically? Beyond personal relationships, Robin's return might also signal a shift in professional power dynamics. With her skills as a doctor, her global experience, and her formidable intellect, she may soon be drawn back into the hospital's orbit, not just as a visitor, but as someone ready to make her mark once again. Could her return shake up the existing medical hierarchy? Could she uncover secrets about Robert's death that others are too afraid, or too blind, to see? What's certain is that Robin's return is not fleeting. It is foundational. She brings with her not only the grief of a daughter but also the fire of someone who has loved and lost too many times to sit quietly while her family's legacy is rewritten by others. Her journey back to Port Charles is layered with loss, justice, and possibly redemption. And in her, the community sees the bridge between past and future. For longtime fans, her reappearance rekindles the emotional connection to the golden age of General Hospital, a reminder that legacy matters. For newer viewers, Robin represents the enduring strength of a woman shaped by sorrow, survival, and relentless love. So as the funeral of Robert Scorpio draws near, and the town gathers to say goodbye, Robin's return looms large. Not as a footnote. Not as a guest. But as the new center of gravity in a storyline that is about to twist, deepen, and possibly explode. Her every move will be watched. Her every word dissected. And in the midst of it all, she may find not only closure, but a new purpose, one tied directly to the future of her family, her daughter, and a town still haunted by the shadows of the Scorpio name. Port Charles is about to change, and Robin is the storm. Robin's return to Port Charles has become more than a personal journey. It is rapidly evolving into a reckoning that will change everything. As she steps back into a town overshadowed by grief following the death of Robert, her father and a beloved figure to many, Robin is faced with more than sorrow. She is confronted with the crumbling pieces of her daughter's life. Emma is no longer the bright, ambitious young woman everyone once knew. She has grown distant, unpredictable, and involved in a series of troubling behaviors that signal something far darker than youthful rebellion. Whispers have spread throughout town about her connection to figures like Professor Hank Dalton, about her secretive actions, about a look in her eyes that has changed from curious to cold. But no one has been able to break through to her. Not Anna. Not friends. Not Jason. And it is precisely this silence that alarms Robin the most. Because she knows Emma. She raised her. She understands the subtle signs of emotional deterioration, and more than anyone, Robin knows what it's like to carry trauma and let it fester into something destructive. That's why she refuses to sit back and watch Emma slip into the same darkness that nearly destroyed her once. Robin's first instinct is to protect her daughter. But the deeper she digs, the more she realizes Emma's behavior is not isolated. There is influence, pressure, perhaps even manipulation at play. And to her horror, Robin begins to see that someone she once trusted may be complicit in allowing Emma's downfall, Jason. The man who once meant everything to her. The one who held her hand through the worst storms. The one who promised, in so many ways, to always watch out for Emma too. But now Jason's loyalty seems divided, his silence too heavy to ignore. Robin cannot prove what role he's played in Emma's descent, whether through protection, ignorance, or fear. But she can feel it in her gut that Jason has been withholding something. And that is something Robin cannot accept. This realization awakens something within her. It's not just maternal instinct. It's fury. Grief. Resolve. For too long, Robin has let others manage the chaos of Port Charles while she remained in the shadows. But not anymore. Not with her daughter on the edge. Not with Emma caught between becoming a victim or a villain. Robin knows she must take control, even if it means alienating old allies or exposing uncomfortable truths. She is no longer willing to protect anyone who stands in her way, no matter how deep their history runs. That includes Jason. That includes Anna. That includes everyone who watched Emma change and said nothing. Robin will speak the truth. And she will act. As she begins to question Emma directly, as she pieces together the timeline of influences, parties, disappearances, secret calls, and whispered names, she sees a pattern emerging. A web of secrets that stretches far beyond her daughter. It touches Sunny. It brushes past Carly. It threatens to explode into something bigger than just a family crisis. Because if Emma has been manipulated or targeted by someone, if Jason knew and did nothing, then Robin's return is not just timely. It's necessary. And she doesn't intend to leave until the rod is exposed. The town begins to shift in reaction to Robin's presence. People who once welcomed her now grow nervous under her quiet scrutiny. Her questions are direct. Her gaze unyielding. And though she smiles politely, there is steel in her voice. This is a Robin forged from loss, grief, and fury. She is a mother who buried her father and came home only to realize she may be losing her daughter. That kind of pain does not whisper. It roars. And it demands action. Port Charles feels it. Jason feels it. Emma may not admit it, but she feels it too. Because for the first time in a long time, someone is willing to confront the shadows, not coddle them. Robin's presence reignites old emotions in Jason, too. Memories, regrets, a bond he thought he buried. But now, those memories are fuel for tension. Robin doesn't see Jason as a protector anymore. She sees him as part of the problem. Whether he meant to or not, he let things spiral. And now, he may be standing on the wrong side of a mother's rage. A confrontation is brewing between them. It won't be loud. But it will be devastating. Because Robin isn't here to ask for help, she's here to take back control. And then there is Emma, caught in the center of it all. Whether she realizes it or not, her mother's return may be the only thing saving her from going too far. Robin's love has always been fierce, but now it is sharpened by necessity. She will not let her daughter become another casualty of Port Charles's endless cycle of loss. She has seen too many children fall through the cracks. She refuses to let Emma be next. In the end, Robin may not be able to save everyone. But she will save Emma. Even if she has to shatter every illusion and every alliance to do it. Because this is not just about motherhood. This is about legacy. This is about what Robert fought for. What she survived for. And what Emma still has a chance to reclaim. Robin's return is not just a guest appearance. It is a reckoning. And by the time she's done, Port Charles will know that Robin is not the woman she once was. She's stronger, sharper, and more determined than ever. And no one, not even Jason, can stop her. Robin's reappearance in Port Charles is not just a return driven by grief over the death of Robert. It is a calculated, deeply personal mission. She is not coming back to simply mourn her father, but to confront a web of deceit that threatens the foundation of everything she once believed about loyalty, identity, and protection. Her instincts as both a doctor and a mother have always guided her, but this time, it's something deeper, a gut feeling, an echo in her soul, that tells her that something is terribly wrong. And at the center of that wrongness is Britt. Or, more accurately, the woman pretending to be Britt. The clues didn't come to Robin all at once. They arrived in fragments. A photograph sent anonymously showing Britt in a hospital overseas when she was supposedly in hiding. A blood work inconsistency buried in a digital file that only someone with high-level clearance could access. An offhand comment by Jason that Britt couldn't remember a particular moment from their past, a moment too intimate to forget. At first, Robin questioned herself. Grief over Robert's death, frustration with Emma's rebellion, and the guilt of being away from home for too long could be clouding her judgment. But as she pulled the pieces together, a terrifying picture formed. Someone has taken Britt's place, and they've done it well enough to deceive almost everyone. Except Robin. This impostor isn't merely playing a part for emotional reasons. Robin suspects there is a deeper, much darker motive. Perhaps intelligence gathering. Perhaps sabotage. Perhaps manipulation of Jason for reasons that have yet to reveal themselves. Robin knows how vulnerable Jason has become in recent months, emotionally isolated and reeling from loss after loss. The idea that someone would use his connection to Britt to get close to him isn't just disturbing, it's dangerous. Especially now, with so many power players circling, waiting for the next crisis to strike Port Charles. Robin has made her decision. She must tell Jason everything, no matter how much it hurts. The pain of discovering that the person he trusted most might be a stranger will devastate him, but the alternative is unthinkable. If this deception continues, it could cost lives. It could destroy the fragile peace that exists between old allies and new threats. Robin doesn't want to be the one to break Jason again, but she refuses to let him walk blind into betrayal. She's preparing the evidence, compiling her findings, and choosing her moment. It has to be right. It has to be controlled. Because once she opens this door, there's no turning back. As Robin moves quietly through the shadows of Port Charles, reconnecting with old friends and testing their reactions, she becomes more convinced that the impostor is working with someone, maybe even multiple people. Sunny, Carly, Sam, they've all had moments of doubt, moments of recognition that something feels off, but no one has had the courage or clarity to say it aloud. Robin will be that voice. But she also knows that exposing the fake Britt could trigger a chain reaction. If this woman is part of a larger plan, her exposure might cause that plan to accelerate. Meanwhile, Emma continues to spiral, acting out in increasingly reckless ways. Robin can't help but see the parallel. Just as she once lived in the shadow of secrets, Emma is now consumed by confusion and anger. Her mother's absence, her grandfather's death, and her disillusionment with the adults around her have left her vulnerable. Robin fears that Emma may be pulled into this web as well, manipulated by the same forces that put a false Brit in Jason's life. And if that happens, if Emma is targeted, Robin knows she will do anything, to protect her daughter. Jason's reaction will be critical. If he accepts Robin's findings, they can move quickly to confront the impostor and uncover who orchestrated the ruse. But if he rejects it, if his loyalty blinds him, then Robin may find herself isolated again, forced to act without the support she desperately needs. Still, she is prepared for that outcome. She has grown stronger, colder in some ways. She knows that truth rarely arrives wrapped in comfort, and this truth will be no exception. There are whispers already spreading through the hospital corridors and behind closed doors at the Corinthos compound. Questions about Brit's recovery, her sudden reappearance, her seemingly flawless reintegration into the chaos of Port Charles. Robin hears these whispers and knows they are more than gossip, they are the first cracks in a facade about to collapse. And when it does, when the truth finally detonates, there will be fallout. Not just for Jason, but for everyone who allowed themselves to be fooled. The revelation that someone has been impersonating a trusted figure, using that identity to manipulate and maneuver through Port Charles society, will shake the town to its core. It will call into question every alliance, every secret deal, every confession shared in confidence. And Robin will be at the center of it all. Not as a victim, but as a warrior, defending the integrity of a community she spent her life trying to protect. Her message is clear, the truth matters, even when it hurts. And she won't stop until it's exposed. Not for Jason. Not for Emma. Not even for herself. But for the town that raised her, the people who shaped her, and the father who taught her that justice, no matter how long it takes, is always worth fighting for. Kimberly McCullough's return to Port Charles is no ordinary homecoming. It is a seismic shift that's beginning to ripple through every corner of the town, igniting speculation, old emotions, and long-dormant conflicts. Her presence alone, even before a single word is spoken or a formal scene begins, signals a change in the air, something deeper, heavier, more urgent. This isn't just about Robin Scorpio Drake rejoining the canvas. It's about what her return represents, a reckoning. A rebalance. A confrontation with the past, and a transformation of the future. For years, Robin has been a symbolic thread connecting the legacy of General Hospital's golden years with the present. But now, with her poised to step back into the daily orbit of Port Charles, that symbolism has evolved into active consequence. Her arrival comes on the heels of profound loss, the death of Robert, the legacy of Tristan Rogers, and the emotional weight that his passing has left on characters both fictional and real. This alone sets the tone for her return as something more than nostalgic, it's personal. Urgent. Emotional. Necessary. Kimberly's enthusiasm behind the scenes has only fueled the narrative firestorm. Her social media teases, touching tributes, and subtle references to the past have not gone unnoticed. For fans, it's a promise that Robin is coming back with purpose. And in a town where every return marks the beginning of a storm, her re-entry could prove to be the lightning bolt that splits ongoing arcs wide open. Whether it's to deal with the fallout from Emma's growing rebellion, or to intervene in Jason's increasingly unstable world, or to shed light on mysteries that have been festering in silence, Robin's return is not just timely, it's transformational. Already, tensions are escalating. The shifting alliances, the unspoken grief, the unresolved traumas, Robin's very presence begins to act like a catalyst, bringing everything that's been hidden to the surface. For Emma, her mother's return may offer the guidance she desperately needs, but it may also provoke deeper emotional wounds, as Robin tries to reassert herself in a life that has changed drastically in her absence. For Jason, Robin may be the only person capable of getting through to him as he teeters on the edge of darkness, unable to fully trust the people around him. And that's what makes this return so powerful. It's not quiet. It's not passive. It's not about comfort. It's about impact. Kimberly McCullough returning as Robin Scorpio Drake signals a profound shift in the very structure of Port Charles itself. Characters will be forced to confront parts of their history they've long buried. Secrets will no longer remain safe in the shadows. Because when Robin walks back into a room, it's not just about who she was, it's about who everyone else is when she's there. And as those changes unfold, as truths are spoken and deceptions unravel, one thing becomes clear: this is only the beginning.